Peepthiswom, episode 21. We about to have some fun. Or should I say peep this word of mouth? We here now. We got some things to speak about. We reaching the 20s. Feeling so good.
We can drink now? We legal?
Yeah.
We legal.
We legal.
So we about to lead this hood. Let's go, freestyle.
I like that.
Freestyle legend.
Nice.
2-bar star.
Ain't got nothing for y'all.
2-bar star.
I'm about to hit that spaceship because we going far. Sorry, guys.
Yo.
Okay, y'all doing?
I feel like the Fantastic Four right now. You see
Right.
Yeah, pretty good in here. Like the vibe. Look at the shape of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone
you looking
looking
fresh. Why you looking
sharp?
sharp?
Everyone looking sharp, yo.
Yeah, that barber. Shout out to that barber.
Hell
on
yeah.
Gramerton.
Facts.
Shout out to me and my peach fuzz, baby. Shout out.
You gotta let that grow one day.
You gotta go and be like,
You know,
on the muffin, like,
Put your chin all in it.
Son,
Put your chin all in it.
that's how you make it grow.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's how you keep
put
it smooth.
You put
That's
it
how
in the
keep it
ever blessed.
smooth.
We call it the ever blessed, ladies. If you know,
keeps the skin
know.
young.
I don't know about y'all, but I like the natural oils and the natural moisturization.
yeah, that's what I'm
You know
saying. The
what I'm
ever
about.
blessed, man. Put
You
it
know?
all up in there.
Yes.
Some rose
Rub
oil.
it in like Kerry lotion.
Yo.
Oh man, so how you guys doing?
Good. Great. Blessed. Thankful, yo.
Micaiah, good.
Man, that's what's up. So let's start the show, man. No shameless plugs today. We're gonna get right into
Yeah, let's
it.
get
To the
it.
shenanigans.
What is the quote of the day, bro?
Oh, quote. A ship is always safe ashore, but that is not what it's built for. Albert Einstein.
Ship.
Is always safe
It's always
ashore.
safe ashore.
But
That's not what it's built
yeah,
for.
that's real. Because it's meant to go out on the sea.
Experiences.
Meant to do that work.
Experiences.
Is everybody a ship?
Exactly.
Is everybody a ship, though?
A well-built ship?
Maybe some people are paddle boats.
Paddle. All right. I like that. I like
Some are dinghy boats.
Some a little bit, but hey.
I like that.
That's
Some are
a real
kickboards.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So what you think about it, that quote, actually? Because when you think about it, a lot of people, I think, stay in their comfort area.
Absolutely.
And they never get to shine through.
Right.
Because if you're always stationary, you're comfortable and content, and society teaches us not to always chase.
Exactly.
You see the 1% or let's be generous, 10% chase
Mhm.
their dreams or chase it. But everybody else is comfortable here. And a lot of people got talents that the world could see.
But it's hard because you know that when you set sail, you're going to face a lot of waves. You're going to face a lot of failures. You know, you may be stranded. You may be lost. You may
That
even...
ship might be damaged.
Yeah, it can
When they come
capsize.
back, yeah.
Exactly.
It may not come back,
Might
It may
come
not be
back.
built for the sea.
you know,
You
but
know?
that's what holds people back.
That's another thing. He said something.
It may not be built for the waters.
May
you
not
know?
be like.
Let's
you-
say it's
you
built
have
for the
some-
pond. Built for a lake.
You have
You got a
some. You
point.
have some ships that they look pretty on the outside, but ain't built to maintain the heavy waters and the heavy flow of what the sea, the ocean currents have in store for it. So
But then it's our job to reinforce it at that point.
exactly.
Exactly.
It's our job to reinforce it. It's like if you know you can only make it out 2 kilometers, well, then what do you got to do to make it out 3? Do what it takes. Reinforce it, even if it's
Yes.
little by little over time.
Exactly.
You know what you think?
No, I agree. Most definitely. It's all about modification, adapting, and stuff like that, and always trying to be up on stuff. So, most definitely.
Yeah, putting new eyes on it, fresh eyes on it, getting some perspective. You know, none of
That
us are
was-
smarter than all of us.
That was a powerful quote, bro. Thanks for sharing. That
Yeah,
was,
Most
Absolutely.
definitely.
listen, say that.
Yo,
one
thanks
more,
for y'all picking it.
Say that one more time so these people
Yeah.
can hear.
Yeah, a ship is always safe ashore, but that is not what it's built for. Albert Einstein.
Shout out to him.
Really by wise guy, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah, wise guy.
That's fine. It's fine. It's
He said it too.
It's whatever.
He brought it to the table. Y'all didn't know this.
So we got the spotlight.
Yes.
Oh, spotlight.
And DeJounte, what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
so
Who
my-
are we shouting out?
So my spotlight of the day is on one of my favorite animators. He's a director and producer as well. Gendi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Gendi Tartakovsky. Yeah, he's the one who definitely came up with Dexter's Laboratory,
Oh, word. Oh,
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Samurai Jack,
I know.
and he's
Powerpuff
also
Girls?
yes,
He did
he's
Powerpuff
did
Girls.
that. He's
Girls.
also done the Batman animated series as well.
Yeah,
That was him?
Batman's
And he
tasted this shit.
he was on part of that, and also as well to just bring back some nostalgia, and also as of recently Primal, which is a very good storyline. So he's really known for his minimal dialogue and great illustrations. So I just kind of want to give a shout out because a lot of great storytelling that I was able to like apply to my life. Yo, I love his stuff.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's still producing.
fire.
Primal was his most recent project.
Oh,
I gotta check that out
came
then.
Yeah, it's on
That
Hulu.
is
You can
cool.
check it out. It's really good. So that's just my
Check
spotlight.
out.
Right, so switching it up a little bit. So Wise, before we get to the social, I think you had some fun this week and you shot some content and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
we did. We did.
yes.
In Brooklyn, we went down to the what do you call it, the industrial area with the trucks and everything. We had a nice adventure. It was real fun. Y'all should have been there. Maybe y'all
wish
will
I
get invited
was.
next time.
Oh, can I come out? I mean, that
You
looks
always
great.
come out.
Yeah,
man.
bring the whole family.
Guys,
I would definitely bring them out. Yeah, right. I bring the kids out that late.
The only
Get like
thing
a barbecue going.
is when it's like you're such a family man. We went like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, but we can always go.
You know what? I'll
day.
flex out. I'll
Yeah.
start getting young again.
Yeah.
I love it. The kids are aging, so I'm gonna start getting my youth back.
Yeah.
Put them to work. Man. Let them hold the camera. Let them hold the light.
Yeah,
the camera.
exactly.
Get them involved in the business.
Yeah,
Hey,
for sure. I
hey.
got energy. I can build energy for that work.
Be like, you want to go to college, right?
Listen, we don't.
Absolutely.
We follow all child labor laws.
Oh,
Let's not
Lord.
My
listen
kids
to
got
Wise.
working papers in all states. Don't worry.
Listen, did you hear my quote before? I'm pretty wise. Don't sleep on me. What you mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
bruh.
So what's the social media topic of today?
So this one is going to be a little bit contentious.
Talk about it.
Remember, I know that me and you have talked about how hip hop music can sometimes negatively affect the community,
Mm-hmm.
and you have good rebuttals for it. But in this clip that I'm about to talk about, Dame Dash, one of the co-founders of Rockefeller himself, explains actually why he doesn't really like listening to hip hop and rap music in the car. So we're gonna go look at the clip, and then we're gonna see what he says about it. So
I hate hearing about the street. To this day, I don't really listen to hip hop in the car. I listen to rock and roll and other things, live instrumentation. I don't want to hear about the things I've been trying to escape. It's traumatizing me because it makes me visualize things that are not positive, and that's when you start to actually feel not positive, and that's when things start to realize themselves not positive. The visual is a very important power that we don't understand.
the visuals are a very important power that we don't understand.
Yes. So deep.
So
You got
I
your
was-
blockers on. Talk about it. Yeah, that's
I was gonna ask you, like, cause I know in the past, so I personally feel that music, whether it be, positive or negative, will always have an influence on you if you listen to it a lot. If you listen to soulful music, you'll probably feel a bit more mellow. If you listen to heroic music, you'll probably feel a bit more brave. If you listen to violent music, you'll probably feel a bit more aggressive. It's been used against us in the Black community because it's like, oh, you listen to the music that they make. Oh, they're violent and this and that. And then people say like, no, we're reporting stuff going on in the streets. We're us for making money off of this nonsense. But at the same time, you can't argue that music doesn't influence people.
It's a hard thing because it does influence, but how can you blame certain to a certain extent? How can you blame music to a certain extent? Now, there's this thing called psychoacoustics, right? Like it's a psychology talking about we tend to listen to the beats and the patterns of things, and that's why we get our emotion and our feel from. So up-tempo beats makes you more up. Sad, drawn, violent type beats calms you down or makes you more thinger. Just like sometimes when you're depressed,
Listen to sad music.
you listen to sad music sometimes, right? You're ready to do a drive-by, you're going to listen to the
Not
most
Drew.
game. Or when we were playing football, right? Those
Oh, heck yeah.
Game Day Bass. I was listening
all
on the
give me
way
something
in.
aggressive.
Yeah.
something aggressive, Linkin Park, whatever we wanted to play to get us set. So I do
That crunk
get
music.
a level of it, but we can't blame certain because we don't blame movies
Right.
and video games.
What
to
about
that
Scarface? Scarface raised a generation of gangster rappers and people in the streets. We
Because
cannot deny that.
It's beautiful imagery, but at the end of the day, what about Goodfellas?
Goodfellas goes right
You know
along with
what I mean?
Scarface.
Another thing, right? And all the other movies, Godfather and stuff, right? Raised a generation.
Yeah.
But I can't fault just the imagery.
No.
Like, they just did it. Whoever made the movie. We can't say, yo, because you made a movie, it caused this. Can it be a trickle-down effect? Yeah. At the point, what I'm basically just trying to say is
Can't
that
be the only thing.
you can't fully blame. But I get it, though. Because we all use it. We all understand that. It makes us have a certain reaction. So,
Right.
how'd you
You
yeah,
kind of
bro.
cut.
I
You believe?
feel, I mean, to me, I just feel like that's just more so preference. I feel like, and
Mm-hmm.
for him, it individually for him and personally, it just may not be the best suitable thing for him. So it's like, yeah, you could listen to rock and roll music too. What does rock and roll talk about? Rock and roll
Drugs,
talks
sex.
about
A lot of
drugs,
drugs and
overdose,
sex.
Even underage sex.
lots of sex. Even that
was
too
only
as well.
17?
So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But then again, I understand he's more ascribing it to a particular set of traumas that he can relate to from his community. I mean, but I don't say it's not a one size fits all. Like, don't speak for everyone because, like, going back to what you said, piggybacking off of it, yes, you have movies, you have video games, all of these different things that. So even yesterday, I watched a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's very difficult sometimes and unbearable to watch when you see like how graphic it can get and how descriptive it gets, especially visually. You know, but it's like, I can kind of separate it and just be like, all right, it's a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let it get that seep that far deep into me. So
Before we pass it to you, do you think maybe because he's dealing with a little post-traumatic stress? That because when you're in the hood and you're hearing gunshots and you constantly, or you're in that lifestyle,
I think it's
maybe the music could.
I think it's a combination
influence
of some traumatic expression, but then also too, like people forget he was involved in so much of the music creation for Rockefeller. So he understands just how much music can actually affect you mentally. He's like he would be somewhere and say like, no, you got to do this a bit more with the music, you got to do that. He understands way more than the average person and knows just how much it affects them. Even musicians oftentimes don't know how much the music can affect them.
Yeah, that's true.
What you think, bro?
No, I definitely understand where he's coming from. Where you say like, I see it as the perspective of I'm in the car. There's a certain type of music I want to listen to because of what like you said. I've been in this industry for so long, creating this type of genre of music that now when I want to relax and get to my next, what is my next in my life? I'm done working music, done doing clothing, done with the urban. I'm doing movies. I'm doing the CBD brand. Working in luxury furniture or whatever, luxury homes. He's moving in so many different facets now that there has to be some Beethoven being played in the background. There has to be some brass and slow chimes. There have to be wind. There has to be certain sounds that you're hearing now to help your creative spirit in that new, that new area you're moving towards. Because if you're listening to rap, obviously you're going to be around, not rap, I'm not saying specifically rap, but like he said, the music that he started with, which was working Rockefeller and all those guys. When you're working with these freestyle artists, these battle artists that are coming up and you're hearing nothing but the streets, yes. Eventually, when I talk about I want to own a yacht and I want, to own my yacht, like we talked about, got to have my boat yard. That's where my yacht stays. There's no sitting on my yacht the whole time thinking about Lil Wayne as I'm building and getting these guys on. I'm not pumping Lil Wayne while my clients are passing by. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just an aura you want to put out to the universe for what you're building and the enterprise you're building. If you're building a coffee shop, I'm not gonna be playing
the right music for the right mood.
Yeah, right music, right mood. Yeah.
So you're looking at it as there's power in the words.
Oh yeah, there's definitely power in the words in the music because wasn't music?
That's true.
Music was, I think, what our first language was, like the sound before we actually used words.
So then I have a question for you guys.
Interesting.
Given,
I like that.
so we can all agree that Black people are probably like the most attuned when it comes to music and soul and spirituality, like in the connection of everything.
I feel so.
I feel so.
so.
I mean, obviously we're biased, but
Right.
we have evidence of it.
We're from the sun, yeah. I agree.
But with that being said, why is it that we're not conscientious as much as Dame Dash is when it comes to how much these things do affect us negatively?
I think again, it comes to how we internalize things.
Yeah.
I think for us who go through whatever post-traumatic stress, if I'm in the hood still and I'm listening to these things, it's gonna make me want it because there is power in words. So I get what you were saying. That was pretty dope, and I do see that part. But if I'm just a casual listener, or sometimes a beat, which that's what reels us in, or maybe the words, you feel like it for a moment, but it may be you can live, vicariously
Yeah.
through somebody. Because sometimes you ain't gonna want to do that. You love your job, but you want to live.
Yeah.
You know what I
He ain't
mean?
gonna pick
I think
up
that's
a
what a
piece
lot of
and go
people
on
are
the block.
doing. Yeah,
So I don't-
exactly.
He ain't about to run down.
I don't think that's
Look how much white kids listen to gangster rap.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the concerts.
Yeah.
But it's the demographic of the
Who is,
concerts.
but
The
who is
Democrat-
buying?
yep.
Who is buying out those tickets?
Yes.
Who invests the most in hip hop?
Mm.
But who suffers the most
Latino.
from hip hop?
Right.
Yes. Their community
So-
suffers from it. Yeah.
So based on your question, then what would you say? What you just asked us?
I think the reason why we don't recognize it a lot of times is one, it's denial.
Yes, denial's big one.
Okay.
One is denial. Like, I don't care what no rapper says. I don't care if they say like, oh no, hip hop isn't bad. We're just reporting what's going on in the streets. That's bullshit. We all know that's nonsense.
You're right.
Because not everybody that's rapping is talking about like, oh, I'm just talking about what they did down the block from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe they did that back in the 80s, but it's different now.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, whether we want to agree with it or not, it's the beautiful catastrophe.
Mm.
You know, it's great
Okay.
and it's horrible at the same time. It's you get so much that comes from it. So to deny that negativity would be denying what's great in it too.
Yeah.
You know, like so much great music. I'll give you my perfect example. Me, tons of gangster rap. I love a whole bunch of that nonsense.
Lloyd Banks.
I love 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the hardcore stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
But at the same time, I know where to remove myself from certain things, and
That's
I know
what
how
I
it
think.
affects me.
Right.
Other
Right.
people, like you're not going to watch an episode of Batman, put on a cape and a mask, and go punching mentally ill people in the street.
No, you're not.
But you feel closer to a guy on the block selling dope, so it's like I could be him, and then they emulate it.
You know, I think I like how you say it because there's so many, like you said, you listen to gangster rap, but there's no gangster rap coming out of your diction and your voice or how you're speaking now, you know? And I think that's where some of us, we're just like, you know what? I don't want to learn it and do better. I want to live in it, be in it, embrace it. I want this culture so bad in it that I'm just gonna do it. And what is it? And then it's like, what comes with
is
that?
it really then?
Like actually going all the way through with it, like
Right.
actually.
That's what's
doing
happening to Susie
what
and
the music's-
Jane over in the suburbs, and they're coming to.
It really comes down to the
They're
power.
twerking in their houses.
Power to
Their
work.
they're making their moms twerk for TikTok now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you see a lot.
It's happening. It's so deep now. It's like you can't even reel it in anymore. You
But
might as
the
well
thing
just
you have
enjoy
to,
it.
You have to
Well, just
realize
now.
music
What?
is so powerful because it bypasses the conscious. It goes in
Bypasses
directly into the subconscious.
Yeah.
You listening to the beat, but then you're like, oh, da, 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 and then you're saying the words, but you're not even paying attention to the words. How do you
Right.
even remember the words?
No,
the
you
beat
don't.
just injects
beat.
it into your mind.
And what I was wondering is then, all right,
Tempo of the beat.
words play a part, right?
Mm.
And we look at our generations before us, right? So Michael Jackson, right? Billie Jean is not such an innocent
Billie
song.
Jean is a horrible song.
Very horrible song.
He's mad wrong
But yet,
in that
but yet
song.
ours, yeah.
It's literally
It's
an
just-
episode of Maury.
It's a
It's
episode
a
of
Maury
Maury.
episode.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's just
So-
how he wrote it.
It's how you wrote it,
I was
right?
saying it.
And has a whole generation thinking it's even safe to play it at church. They would play it at church before they played any other thing. And I'm just like,
it's
this
horrible.
is just as bad. It's just how we quote it.
How he delivered it.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes to the point of where you are in time in your life. So if that's how he feels in his car, because there's times where
Right.
I listen to a lot of soul beats, right? That's just where I'm
Yes.
at. Or a lot of love songs. That's just where I'm at in my life. And then I do want to hear some Bust Gun stuff. Of
But sometimes you go
want to be on
OD
your
on it.
ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong
Even
with
though
that.
I won't act it out. I just like to hear somebody else talk about it.
I OD'd on positive first one time way too much. I was
OD'd
listening
like, I need
on all
something.
positive music. I was like, listen to all good, positive good.
He said
singing
nothing but Black Eyed
Christian.
Peas.
Yo, and then one day I was like, yo, this is too much.
How does an OD case look like? What
Yo,
does that
OD
look
case
like?
looks like you listen to like straight Christian radio, beating yourself over the head for like months.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you like, yo, Jesus, I love you, but you know what? We about to turn up real quick. I gotta drop
I
my beats
love
over there and put it down. Let me hear it down.
Gotta listen to some ignorant stuff.
Yo,
Now,
for
see,
real.
I'll capitalize on that, and I'll say one thing that I feel that we should do as a people and as a culture more, and it's accept positive music. Because I know it's like, oh, positive music is corny, but you're human. Even when you're having bad points in your life, you need something positive.
I love
It's a part of
positive
being
music.
human.
Yeah, it's part of being
Like
human,
I don't know why we reject anything that's not like not everybody that's black is poor and disenfranchised and on the corner. Like we have positive experiences too, and we can put that in music.
And would some argue that maybe that music, that hard grunt stuff is positive? Like they're showing you that they got it out of the mud? Are they showing you that the come up is actually a positive thing and we want you to see it in this light? Is that the spin they're trying to sell you with?
No, I don't think nobody's articulate that much. They just make us. They just make us whatever that sounds the hottest at the moment.
Bet.
It's the same way that if you need positive music, the same way you may need music that invokes your negative emotions, the same way you need positive role models in other aspects too that aren't just rappers and ball players.
Yeah, you also need to see the guy
variety
behind bars too. To see, don't go to jail, don't do bad things.
Exactly.
But you notice though, whether we like it or not, music does play a part in our day-to-day, right?
Absolutely.
Because even with the current events, you will see them mention the Mike Floyd and the, right? Mike Floyd?
George Floyd?
George Floyd.
I
Mike
want to
Floyd,
make sure, sorry.
Yeah,
Mike Floyd, somebody else. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, George Floyd in songs. You might hear I Can't Breathe. You might, you might hear different things in
it's
a song.
topical. It's
So,
political.
Yeah.
So I guess it has
It's
its
another
part.
form of art.
Has its part. And speaking of that, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna ask you a question, but you go first.
No, you first.
I was gonna ask you guys. Do you guys ever listen? Do you know any song that you listen to that evokes any sort of trauma for you? Because I can definitely say for me, I have some.
A trauma? Yeah. There's some songs that were actually coming out at the time of a lot of my abuse, and because it was during that period of year, and there was a certain movie out that there's these songs are on the soundtrack.
But do you
So
listen to it?
No, I try not to. If it's on in the store, I hear it. Pay attention and let it roll down, but I don't try to look for it.
Don't we kind of do though? Because
I think so.
when we are down, we listen to depressive music.
To
Neo.
invoke it.
Yeah,
it's,
I'm so
sometimes to
sick
keep
of love
it,
songs.
to keep us there. We don't be like, I'm happy. No, we want to. You keep ourselves in a certain mode. So I guess we do.
and that's why I was like, I get his trauma, but and I don't disagree with what he's saying. But at the same time, as a
makes
musician
sense,
myself too, it's sort of like you use that music as a vehicle to navigate through those emotions. That's why I was like, I get it, but don't deny yourself too much. Like, but at the same time, it does make sense because it's like, if this is gonna put you in a mode where, like, what you call, if you're a millionaire and you got like all this work to do in 24 hours or whatever, you want to listen to I Get High by Styles P when you're trying to like get some work done, or do you want to listen to like something a bit more energetic, something a bit more aggressive, upbeat?
It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true too.
It's different for everyone. Rock music can make people sleepy and down.
Yes, it
and
can.
Rock
That's
people
true.
can have a different effect on some. People be like, yeah, my meditation is heavy metal.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Gutturals.
Screamo.
They, that's their meditation.
Right.
That is true.
Everyone's
I've
different.
seen that one.
It's the beautiful chaos.
So what would you? How
Yes.
would you summarize it, bro? Like if after we talked, what would you say?
I would say we definitely need to be more conscientious of how our music affects our mood, whether it brings us trauma, whether it helps us get through things. But at the end of the day, we can't let music, good or bad, control us and make us do things that we wouldn't do in our right state of mind.
So true. So true.
Yep.
Oh, that,
Just because you hear
love it.
Percocet, Molly, Percocet doesn't mean you go take Percocets, Molly's, and Percocets.
and to know
Don't give her one either,
He
brothers.
did a lot. He talks about a lot of lean and
Not only doesn't do it, I was like, that's
and it
hilarious.
happens. A lot
That's
of times
hilarious.
people do these things because sometimes
Do drugs, not me though.
because you might see it or you might think there and you know somebody go through it, so you talk about it. Sometimes we talk about other people's realities. Like
We do.
Pablo Escobar is a perfect example.
Exactly.
A part of that story is completely me, and part of it is I was around it. You see what I'm saying? It's something that sometimes you just want to talk about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bring ignorance, but it's a part of your life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like you say, get it out of mud. I get it. Because he really did. Shiesty, right?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sad I like Shiesty a lot.
Oh, this was Kevin Gates. I get it out the mud.
Oh, that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, get it back in blood.
Get it back in blood. Back in blood. Yeah, that's my joint.
that's
I
my
love me
joint.
some Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah. Oh, so okay, that's
Oh,
Kevin Gates.
yeah,
Is that a
well,
fire song?
Well, yeah.
Kevin,
I like it.
should I
shout
rock
out
with
to-
it?
Yeah, you should rock with it.
All right, I'm going to listen
Get out
to
the
it.
Spotlight on Kevin Gates.
Spotlight
What you
on
wanted? Yeah.
Spotlight on Kevin
Yeah,
Gates.
just
I
saying.
mess with him without 2 phones. I got 2 phones.
Yo, there's a couple of them. Oh, my God.
But,
That's fun.
yo, to switch it up a little bit,
go.
right? Let's talk about the topic of the night. We see in social media all the time. We see cops mistreating people. We see
We see this.
We also see cops doing some good things. Let's not negate that, but we see a lot of trauma that these cops cause, especially the African American community, the mixed race community, all those of color, I should say, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my neighbor talks about it. It's hilarious.
Do any of you guys have any cop stories, and how has it impact your life? I have a few, but has any of you guys? Can we share? See, a lot of times in our community, we deal with the poison and we don't seek, how can I say, an antidote, right? We don't try to heal from it, right? Just let it perpetrate in our heart. So I think the more we talk about it, the more we can heal. The more as men, we could say, you know what, this is why and stuff. Because I have an innate fear every time a cop car is behind me.
Even just see a police
Even when
officer.
I'm driving properly,
Yes.
I'm thinking this is about to be my day.
That's hardwired.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you haven't gotten it right yet, huh, boy?
It's weird
I'm just
to
saying, it's real.
That's hardwired in your DNA.
It is.
It's weird when you have friends that don't understand that even just being around a police officer makes you nervous, just because somebody wants to do something that one day and wants to be a jackass about things.
Oh yeah, it's public record. At the jackass part, I had an incident on the highway with a machete incident. Bridgeport guy with machete. Google it. It's me, owner of the Vent Doctor and all these other businesses.
That was in his past life. With the machete.
You know, that wasn't even.
He's been reincarnated.
I wouldn't even say it was a past life. The machete happened to be in the car, but the story isn't told that way with the whole situation. The story was told a whole different way with the news. I mean, the cop. It wasn't even a police officer. It was an undercover municipal officer in the end. Officer. I was on the highway headed to a meeting from one job to the next, and it's traffic. Nobody's moving. A big Chevy Avalanche sitting on 22s, big lip, dark tint windows, all black, pulls up on the shoulder of the road, points his nose right in front of my car. I'm in a Nissan Maxima, no tints. I go to the middle lane. I go back to the slow lane. The truck decides to go around me again and points his nose in front of me. And he's staring at me, these two white guys. I'm like, yo, I'm the wrong one, bro. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Right.
So turn around. I go back to my lane. I go slow. Car comes up and he's on his phone now. I'm like, oh, he's trying to call the cops on me. So the machete was in the back seat because my mom owns property and we didn't grow up with lawnmowers. You know how it is. We were on the Cutlass. So I just had it from her house. My guy chases me off the highway because I was like, I'm not fooling with these two dudes because I got to get to a meeting. So, or there's top designers coming in town. Fast forward, I get off the highway, make a left, go into the light. Guys follow me up the highway, through the light, make a U-turn, come back. I'm on my way to the highway. And I'm sitting at the light, and down the hill comes a cop running by. I'm like, oh, they're probably looking for me now. This guy done called. So 2 seconds later, see him in my rear view, because I have a red Nissan Maxima, no window, no tint, so you can see me. I'm not hiding. And I got 7 guns on me, like in seconds. Wow. 7 guns, 1 taser through the glass. The taser's pointed at me through the windshield. And the other guns are pointed at me from the sides. Don't get out of the vehicle. Put your hands up. I'm like, really?
What?
Yeah. So by the time they get me, and mind you, because it's a weapons charge for having a weapon on you, the machete. So I told them it's a tool. We use it for this. Anyways, they cuff you this way, and they cuff you behind your back. So you can imagine having it high up cuff.
So that way it's like you can't move your shoulders and stuff.
So my shoulders couldn't move for 45 minutes on the drive from Stanford to Bridgeport to the state police. And then after the 45-minute drive through traffic and everything, we get there, and I'm sitting there for another 3 hours before they let me go. Before I got bonded out. My bond was already there 2 hours before, but they waited 2 hours to let me out after my bond was there. It's like, holy cow, this is treatment. I was in the station for an hour before they let me. And then they told me to put my shoes on. I was like, I can't move my arms. My shoulders are done. It took me, oh my God, I don't know how much rehab I did. I still haven't rehabbed officially, fully from it or recovered from it. But the hyperextension on the shoulders, I mean, for weapons. I mean, and the guy that was in the truck pulled up.
And they were chasing you.
Chasing me, and it was an undercover guy. He stood out with basketball shorts and a badge on his hip like it was cool. And I was like, wow, this is what we do. We provoke citizens on the road to cause them to act up.
So he kept cutting you. See, that's the
And I was in a slow lane in traffic. Nobody's moving. So I'm like, let me get away from this guy.
He kept coming in front of you doing that, man, trying to entice you.
Yeah, to do something.
He wanted,
He wanted to see me act up with a machete or
Man.
something in the vehicle, which was like, because it was on the seat, in the sheath and everything.
What'd you say?
No, this is a public story. The news article's out there, but I just had to put out there for the record because the article, when we talk about these things, people don't understand how this can ruin your reputation.
It can.
You know, Jobs knew about my DUIs before I even got my DUIs.
The court of
Look it
public
up.
opinion is a real thing.
Right.
It is.
It's a
Your
real
boss
thing.
will fire you over these things.
Because you bring them a bad reputation. It's like you're not even in control of that.
And you have so much stories because I know, like,
There were
with
times,
cops.
I watched
man.
him use my vehicle and the cops harass him. Not because we look alike or anything, but what was that situation?
Yo,
What was that scenario?
man. So we were at college, right? I just borrowed your car. They already started labeling your car. Like, we were in college, we were the lit ones out there. We were throwing a lot of parties and stuff.
Yeah, we're
and
pretty known.
pretty known. So cops came and busted a few of our parties. So they started watching our cars. I borrowed this car for a minute, and I stopped at the stop sign, right? And then I went to the other one, and then I stopped again because somebody was crossing. Cop said that what did he say? I failed to indicate, and I was like, but I'm not turning. So he stops me, and he says, oh, he thinks I'm
Just
efficient,
Yeah,
right? He thinks I'm efficient right now. He's like, oh, this car, we need to see if you have any stuff in your car. I was like, stuff for what? He said, do you consent to the search? I said, no, I don't consent. Guess what?
Searched anyway.
Searched anyway. He said, get the F out the
Search
car.
everything.
And then he had a lot of stuff in his trunk because he works.
Yeah, I was like
And he
to my
was doing
apartment. I
things,
broke my
so-
leg at that time.
So they made me take everything out. And then he's like, oh, okay, nothing's in the car. I was like, and then he did a search, move stuff. And I said, yo, bro, my bad. Because they destroyed a few of his things, CDs, few things that he had in the thing because they were rough with it. Even though they asked me to take, I wasn't going fast enough. So they moved me to the side, started taking everything out the car. And then when they didn't find anything, I had to put everything back. And they drove off.
I watched this whole thing from the window, from the balcony. I'm looking down. Not my balcony, it was his house. Because I was at his house and he brought the car to go to the store. So I'm
Yeah,
come back.
these cops.
And I was like, we're that marked because I'm gonna have an out-of-state plate and we're there for college.
And we're there
like,
for
how hard is
college.
that? This goes on, I swear, across the country for any minority in university. Parents have to understand you have to train your kids on how to deal with the police when they leave you.
Yep.
Because if they don't know, they're gonna leave you.
Only black people get the talk about how to deal with the police.
Only black people.
Only black people get that.
Yeah.
So what
If
They
you're
always
lucky-
bring the white
if you're
kids
lucky.
home. They bring the white kids to their parents like everything's good.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
So
if
what
you're
about
lucky.
you, Wise? You have a story?
Well, there was that one time me and you were at my place in
hold on.
Parkchester.
I swear I'm not the bad one because it seems like the story is me and you, me and you.
No.
I'm not reckless.
Wait, he got a ticket for jaywalking across from the airport.
I got a ticket for jail.
Like, come on, bro.
He just wanted to be a
ticket.
jerk.
There's no crosswalk in front of the airport. How are you supposed to cross the road? Walk a mile
I
down.
would expect that in Nevada, but
Oh, man.
not here.
Was this
Kansas.
in PA?
PA.
You
Makes
know,
sense.
Kansas.
That was out there?
No,
Yeah,
that's
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
That
Makes
one
perfect
was.
sense.
Yeah. All right, bro. Go ahead. Tell your story, Chief.
Well, I mean, aside from the fact that when I was going to school, when I was in high school, and the police station's like 2 blocks down, but at the same time you go through the projects and they'll never, be around kids getting jumped and robbed in front of the
Yeah,
school.
never be around
But they're
the
2
projects.
blocks and there's a whole bunch of police cars there, but they're never around. So that's one part of trauma.
Right.
Then there was the one time where we were coming from my place in Parkchester. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
We were walking down East Tremont, and then for whatever reason, mind you, we just had I had my book bag and have rhyme books. That's about it, And then they stopped and frisked us because they thought that we were muling drugs in the middle of the afternoon. We're just walking down the street with a book bag, like.
What is this, The Wire?
Like,
You guys mulling drugs?
I'm
Kids,
on
we
the
gotta pull
middle
these
of
kids
East
over.
Tremont in traffic. Like, it's the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah, that was
I'm
crazy.
walking. I'm going to walk around with a bunch of cocaine and marijuana in my bag. Like, they stopped and frisked us in the middle of the afternoon.
You do have a very innocent face. Like, I would use you as a mule for sure.
I'm not stupid enough to be a mule. I'll tell you that.
Exactly.
Fits the description.
Right, he fits the description, right? Oh, he fits the
Yeah,
description.
they-
I think he could be one.
So then there's that.
What?
And then I'll
That's
tell you.
terrible.
I'll tell you a funny. And then I'll
Go
tell you
ahead.
the other time I got.
Funny.
Well, this one is actually kind of funny. It's actually stupid, but I'll tell you the one time I got a gun pointed at my head. So in my freshman year, there was 4 of us living in an apartment. So there was me, my roommate, and my room on one side, and then there's 2 other roommates on the other side. One of them is like a white British guy. You know, he's an international student. So what happened is that for several weeks, I had been coming home, and I was seeing that my British roommate, for some reason, had bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles of liquor. Don't know where he's getting this stuff from, but they just keep showing up every day. Table, bottles of liquor. Then one day, it's like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I come home from class, I take a shower. I'm the only dark-skinned person, and I got my afro and everything out. My roommate, he's like a short Filipino guy. He's tutoring one of our other classmates in our room. And then we live on the first floor, mind you. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I look outside my window. All of a sudden, I see a bunch of state troopers roll up. I'm like, oh, damn. I already know what this is about to be. This is not about to be good. So then a whole bunch of them pull up. The guy that was doing all the stuff, he was basically breaking into people's houses in the neighborhood. A whole bunch of a whole bunch of old people too. In the middle of Pennsylvania, just breaking into old people's houses and their garages and stealing bottles of liquor. Him and his friends.
White guy?
They got money. I don't know why they're doing this though. It doesn't end there. So the apartment building, you have to
influence the community.
Of course, Dame Dash told you he traumatized. You know, this person clearly wasn't.
Yeah, right.
But basically, so our apartment building, it's locked, so you have to let somebody in. Unless you have access, you got to let them in. So he sees the state troopers. He goes outside to the front door, lets the state troopers into the building. So there's that. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, this is about to be something bad. So then we hear a knock on the door. We hear my roommate go, not the British guy, he goes in and answer the door, the other one. He's like, who is it? And then all I hear is like, police, open the door, open the door. I'm like, oh, shit. And then we open the door, and then they just come in guns blazing. Put your hands on your fucking head. Put your hands up your head. Get up against the wall. Get up against the wall. Get up against the wall. And I'm like, oh, damn, I'm about to die. I'm the only black person in the room. You got a short Filipino guy. You got a regular-looking white guy. And you got a dark-skinned person with a big old afro. And this is back when we wore like 2X tees.
Oh, yeah, the tall tees, yeah.
I look like I'm straight out of a dang Jeezy music video.
And I say, what?
I was like, hey, yo.
I'm like, oh, dang.
Who, Mike Jones?
I got my head against the wall. I got my hands behind my head, and it's just like going through all this stuff. They got the guns behind us, and I'm just like, oh God, this is about to be ridiculous. But him and his friends, yeah, they were breaking into people's places, and then they're like, I'm feeling like
That's
they're
crazy.
like that they think that I'm the mastermind or something, and I'm traumatized because I'm like, I know how these things go. I have absolutely nothing to do with this, but of course they ask us questions and all this other stuff. And
Of course.
It's funny. You say that in the room. You were the only one.
Yeah.
If all four of us were in a car traveling cross country, we'd all get pulled over in a couple states, wouldn't we? Or wouldn't we?
Easy.
Not?
Easy.
Okay, we can all agree to that. See,
Easy.
look at that.
I be getting
Look at that.
Even if you're going the speed limit.
I be getting PTSD.
We'd
just
have
being in
to
the
go to
passenger
speed
seat.
limit.
Yeah, man.
But being the only black person in the car.
With the waves on.
And we can't have a good time and enjoy.
There's
no laughing. There's no hands up and dancing in that vehicle.
I've actually been in a car with other people.
You gotta be on your P's and Q's, eyes looking around.
I've been in a car with other people in college I'm the only black person in the car. I'm in the passenger seat, and then the cops pull us over, and I'm the only one that I got my hands up because I'm like, I don't want them to accuse us of anything. It's a dead of night. And then they laughed at me. They laughed at me because they thought that was funny.
Your peers did?
None of them were black.
Oh, so they don't have the association with it.
They never understand. I try to explain this to people. They don't understand, especially people of different color. We just leave it like that. They just don't understand.
Until it happens to them, and then they were like, oh.
And even when it happens to them, they still don't have a level of understanding of what we go through.
Right.
Because they can talk to them. I've seen them talk to them.
They'll argue back.
Any other way.
Right.
I would never. Even when I'm right, I just wait. Because at any moment,
somebody's going to feel gully.
they're going to say I moved too wrong. I have a bunch, but you want to go?
I had you written. Keep going. I got my
No,
story still. No.
One of the stories deals with you too. Remember, we was throwing a football with
Oh yeah, throwing
shorty
a
at that
football 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
in the afternoon in the street. Now, granted, no cars is around. When they come, we see them a while because there's a stop sign there, a stop sign.
You see
And
them
we
coming.
see them for a while, and we're not throwing in and hitting anything. Right? Kids do it all the time there. No
Yeah, it's like a
problem.
big cul-de-sac intersection. It's a big intersection.
A person who was watching us calls the cops and says two black people are throwing a football around and making noise and ruckus. Cop comes and detains us.
Yeah.
Making
Yeah.
a ruckus.
We asked them, what are we being detained for? He said, oh, somebody says y'all blocking traffic.
Blocking traffic.
I was like,
Oh,
around.
so it meant black in traffic?
I like
Right,
it.
Black in traffic.
That's the first heat check of the night.
Black in traffic. Black in traffic.
Or if it was the other way around, they'd be like, oh, if it's white kids, boys will be boys.
45 minutes. And then he gave me and my man a fish and a ticket.
Yeah, we did. Drunk in public.
It didn't give.
We're not inebriated, under the influence, did not take a breathalyzer.
That
did
nice,
not take breathalyzers and got drunk in public.
Yeah, and had a
Public intoxication, okay.
the white
afternoon?
missus that was with us. Did she get a ticket?
Oh, no, she didn't.
They gave her a warning.
Yeah, my ex got a warning out of this situation.
Got a warning while we got a ticket.
How crazy is that?
Or I was accused of stealing something when I went to Gettysburg, right, to see the place where they buried the soldiers. And I'm just in the store. Now, this white person took a few candy bars, few things when the person wasn't looking. I'm here. You know how I keep my hand here until I'm ready to pick up something because
You know how
I
people
know the
treat you.
vibe.
Yeah.
This is 2006. So I went into the store. The lady accused me. I said, ma'am, you can check me. I didn't even step out yet. Check me then. She pointed the shotgun at me. Held it until the cops came. They came. Oh, black man accused of they came. I've never seen 6 cop cars with almost 10 people coming out for one person
Yeah, that's a rough one.
with guns on you. Put your head, and then they do this dumb shit. Excuse my language, with contradicting one person saying don't move, the other person saying walk to me.
Yeah.
So what the hell you want? So you know what I did? I dropped to the floor, put my hand like this, and I was like y'all could do whatever y'all want to search. Then they were saying, oh, this store has been hit a few times, and
That's an
want to
excuse.
apologize after this, and they think
An apology serves as
I've never dealt with such like pain. I was so mad. I couldn't do nothing about this. Like if this was street laws, you could be able to go handle your business, maybe shoot up a cop if you had to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying to do that, but you see, but they have all the power. You can't do nothing. All these guns pointing and you could
That's a mafia.
I've never felt heat like that. Like the sweat coming down, because at any moment I thought this was going to be the day. Because if I moved, I prayed. I said, Lord, don't let me move today. Let me stay so still.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 2006, before the camera thing was such a big
body
thing
cams,
where everyone is putting it out and everyone is filming. Remember, our phones didn't, you
we
only
didn't have
could
cameras
film.
in 2006.
You only could film 15 seconds if you had a fancy phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was black. It wasn't even, that color. You know
Well,
what I
it was
mean?
like 240? 240p?
Yeah, it was 240p. Yeah, it was horrible.
You could maybe see Bigfoot.
It was horrible, bro. It was horrible.
Can't take a photo with the sundown at all.
Stories for days that makes me find it hard to trust cops. I find it even cops of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like they turn.
Because I'm just like, there was cops of color there, like 2 of them, and none of them said, maybe you're treating this black guy that's there with his school. I'm there with Penn State. It's not like I went just by myself.
Mm.
So the teacher's there. He's like, this kid, I know him, blah, 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 says my name, says, you can check him. He doesn't, and I didn't have anything on me. But just the mere fact, we have to go through that whole process. Nobody in this store, they telling me, all right, slowly crawl to the door. They check me and stuff, pick me up all rough, and I had to deal with that. And people want to be like, why are you so afraid? When I'm hanging out with other people,
Yeah.
they always like,
Non-black people, basically.
Yeah, why you're so afraid? Why you so...
Because you got trauma.
You don't understand. At any moment, I felt my life. And there's so much other stories. I've been where I accidentally rolled a stop sign near Pineford. Cop came out, told me to roll down the window. He said, put your hands up, right where I can see it. He says, oh, I smell a fragrance. I was like, sir, I'm not smoking. I don't have any. I don't smoke. He's like, I smell the fragrance, get out the car. And then I was trying to go, oh, he's reaching. And he put the gun, he said, move fucking slowly. And I was like, oh my gosh. And there's a few times I thought my life was gonna, because he's like, move slowly. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, as a man, first time shedding tears like that. Like, I thought my life was done. And you can't do nothing about it. Can't box him, can't do nothing. Yeah. He has a gun on him.
He has the upper hand.
He has the upper hand. And if you touch him, that's assault.
I think they're cowards, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they're all cowards because it's like, you know good and damn well that without that job, like everybody's just human. It's weird how we give police officers so much power in this country, and even soldiers that come home don't have that much power. Even they don't do these sorts of crazy things. Like, what are you afraid of? If you're so afraid, you shouldn't be in this job. If you're such a coward, this is not the job for you. What are the standards for being a police officer? They're not very high.
Right. And think about it. They're there to uphold law, and they break it all the time.
No,
we see them run through red lights.
They did enforce that.
Oh my gosh.
The same
One did
stuff
that
they
just the
stop
other
us.
day.
Yeah, the same things.
I swore he was going somewhere. I was like, dude, all right, let me move
No, they
over.
break the laws all the time.
And then he just sat at the next light. I was like, so there was no emergency. So you just sped down this road and possibly scare people for no
it's
emergency.
a mafia you pay taxes to.
Come on, man.
Just the other day, I think 2 or 3 days ago, a cop killed a homeless man.
Wow.
Ran through the red light, 80, 90 miles flying.
What?
Cracked that guy.
Do you know down where we were in Florida? Shout out to you guys, but I'll tell you this one. Down there in Florida, where we were in Destin, between Panama City and Pensacola.
Is that more south?
Yeah, more of the west on the Panhandle.
The west side of Florida. Okay.
Yeah, towards Alabama. They move the homeless people. The police move the homeless people. They pick them up and drive them hours away and drop them off.
Wow.
That's what they do, though, because
a
the towns don't want that kind of community there. They don't want to help them. Some of them don't want to help them.
They don't have the
resources aren't there. So the facilities and resources aren't there. That's why we're trying to create these resources within our communities. That's what we're working on.
Yo,
here.
hold your thought. We haven't heard this story.
Yo,
yet.
let me hear this.
Yeah, because I know you got a few, but share whatever you want.
My most one that's out there was about around the time I was 19, 20 years old, I believe. I hanged out with 2 old friends. We went out to a place called the Valley. You know where the Valley is at, right? So we went out to that park late at night, and we indulge in, chiefing up, smoking some bud and stuff. So we doing it, and I'm already naturally kind of like a paranoid person, especially when I'm like smoking bud. Right. So we're in the park, and we're chilling like towards more the front, and I'm like, I look at my peripheral, because, black people, we always on our peripheral, and I'm like, you see that? I'm like, yo, this van is like creeping up slowly with the police car. So the guy's like, yo, the guy was with and it was another girl. He was like, yo, let's start walking out slowly. So we walking out slowly, and the truck is like, the van is picking up speed. And I'm like, and we just did the dumbest shit. We just started running.
No, but when you're scared.
You look like they're going to pull up on you.
When you're scared, you
run.
run.
You know they don't got nothing on you.
Growing up that time, that's what we did. We ran. You don't stay in the hood.
The dumbest shit ever.
What?
But
I don't even think it's dumb.
You're not going to kidnap no black boy.
Pull up on me on the side of the corner, and then you ain't seen hood videos, hood movies?
Talk about it.
Okay, so it's not dumb.
It's not.
So we booked it, or so we thought we booked it. We went down, we went about about half a block down. Cop car came up because it was a one-way, and he cut because I was going to jump into the yard and hop over the fence. And that cop came out of nowhere, blindsided me with the gun to my spine. And he said, I almost pulled the trigger on you.
Wow.
I was on the ground like this, and the barrel of the gun, I feel it sticking into my spine. And then after that, he got up. We ended up going, they brought us back to the park, and the chief was like, yeah, so looks like you guys going to do 20 plus. We found the gun.
What gun?
And I was like, what? I dropped my jaw. He's like, I'm just fucking with y'all.
Wow.
That's natural.
But that's what they do.
They like mess with you, dog. Your heart.
I was sweating. But I was like, bro, what? I have never been in trouble with the law before. And then when we got brought to the station, Guess what I had in my book bag that made me look even worse? Just guess.
A bullet.
No, I had baking soda in my bag.
wow.
Because baking soda
They
makes.
thought I was chopping up drugs.
Yeah, because it's,
but they
the
have no.
face is cut.
But even with
You
that, they
covered
have.
it.
Just because they have a suspicion doesn't mean they have evidence, so they can throw whatever they want. But it's like, I have no drugs. Like, I can use baking soda to clean things too. You can use it to brush your teeth.
That's
Yeah.
what he was doing.
No,
I smoked
had
with
that.
my barber one time, got pulled over afterwards. And my barber at that time was dealing bud. Shout out to him. He still does. But yo, my barber was this cool dude, right?
Oh, now we know fishing goes to his barber for his plug.
You know why I go to my barber get lined up?
Man,
You know, shout out. Tight ones only. Tight ones only.
Now we.
Yo,
Y'all don't know who it is. Y'all know
I'm
who it is.
good.
But no, I
That's
tell
gonna
you.
make a great clip. That's funny as hell.
Yo, don't give him none of your passwords.
For real, serious. So I tell you, after that, I got pulled over by this cop down the road, and he's like, "Do you sell drugs?" I was like, "No."
Why would I even? Like, yes, officer, I do. Do you want
do.
some?
Right.
You
so I'm
wanna
like,
cut
"So I don't
some?
sell it." He's
You
like,
wanna
"You
cut
sure
in
you
on
don't
this?"
sell it?" I was like, "No." He's like, he kept asking me this. He's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Dude, I don't even like that many people to sell drugs, okay? First of all." He's like, "You sure you don't sell drugs, man? Because, you know, that's what's going on around the town. A lot of y'all brothers is doing that."
Excuse you?
I was like, "What?"
That's
No. You see this lineup? I just saw my barber, and we just chilled, and I'm going home. That's all that was. Yo, kid you not, 3 cop cars pull up now, and he's like, "All right, go over to that one and throw it out. Step on it over there." So I was like, "Okay." I go over to the cop car. The cop is sitting there, this white guy, he's like chewing gum. He's freaking playing Candy Crush. And he's like, "I would have let you keep it." And I was like, "Yo, this motherfucker, I don't even understand the system. I don't understand how these people work, that you guys can pick and choose who you want to throw it out, who you don't." Right after this, there's a car goes flying by. Phew, cop car's behind it. Phew, phew. I was like, okay. The chief is with them now. My fault. The chief pulls up. He's with these guys that are on me. He's like, "I can't let you go. You know, we got to at least dispose of it, to write you up." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Isn't it a ticket? I mean, it was only a couple grams. It wasn't even an ounce." So I step it on whatever. They fly by. The chief does a U-turn up the one way and flies off. They're like, "You know why he did that, right? He got that rookie in the car. That's why he tried to
To
impress
show
him."
off.
I was like, "Yo, this is super bad.
It is.
We're
It's
living.
super bad.
They're
It's
super bad.
Right.
That's who they are.
Story.
The cops are super bad."
Did you want to ask your question, or can we? How do
tell
you
another
feel?
story.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, they all left after that too. I got no ticket, by the way.
I had something kind of similar to yours with the super bad reference. So I was down by Chelsea Piers. I was with two of my brethren, and we got an ounce, right? So we there smoking and chilling. So there's a white couple that's not too far off from us. These 2 Asian cops come up to us, like, "Hey, what you guys doing here? What's your business?" And like, "Oh, let's see your IDs." "Oh, guys from the Bronx. What business you have?" "Oh, we was just hanging out." So we ended up throwing the stash away like a little far ways and hit it. Looks over to the white couple, of course. "Guys, you guys go beat it." Left. Son, we left. They let us off with a warning, though. We left. We tried to circle back, get back around.
They were there.
They was
It
waiting
was
for you.
gone. They
It was
took
gone.
They
They,
took it.
they knew.
They saw.
Yeah,
They
they
knew.
They
They
stole
wanted it for
Police,
themselves.
like they tell me, "We see you before you see us."
I was like, "Damn, son, a whole ounce."
Oh, you had a question.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, all right. So I got. I got.
Hey, there's some stuff the police didn't catch
got
too, though.
another
So
story.
trust, I got some bad driving out there, and cops didn't get. I got on camera.
while I was
Pulling
in
e-brakes on the highway.
I was in preparation of, building myself, like getting myself from one level to another. So I had a job. I had a part-time security job, and then I also DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I remember.
So I was DoorDashing in Scarsdale because they tend to give really good tips.
That's where it's at.
Scarsdale, Westchester.
Westchester,
Yeah.
Westchester
They give
tips.
really good tips, right? Because it's huge houses. Like the taxes on these houses is like $50,000. Some people's whole salary.
Yeah, I'm trying
Right?
to clean those.
So I went to this lady's house, right? The GPS says we're here. Dark street. When I say I couldn't see much, so I saw it. I was like, okay, the house says here. I can't find the number on the thing. Like you have to walk onto the property. So I went to the wrong house. Went into there, and then I've never seen cops come so far. Once I saw the number, let's say I'm here and the number is there, I was like, oh, okay, wrong house. It must be the next one. As soon as I started walking out, cops was like, get your mother hands on the ground. I was like, hands up, knees on the ground. I was like, what? What?
Yo.
And I was like, I got DoorDash. I got DoorDash. He was like, I don't give a, this lady calls like, oh my gosh. And then,
Yeah.
when he realized, I was like, listen, this is my order. This is the number. And I said, call this number for me. And he said, okay. And he called. And she's like, yes, I'm the house next door. And it was like, you know, a black person in this neighborhood with at the time I had like I was renting a car to do the delivery.
Yeah.
It was like a Sentra. He was like, you didn't fit here.
Oh wow, that doesn't sound prejudiced whatsoever or
and I was
racist.
just like,
You don't belong here.
I was like, he said, so automatically this lady thought you were stealing and we came right away to see it. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Ahmad Arbery, right? Ahmad Arbery, right?
So I came over, I dropped the food, and I was like, yeah, I'm done delivering for the day. Because a sheer mistake, a simple mistake, could have cost my life. Because now, I didn't hear them say, put your knees on the ground, and I was walking to them with the red bag and stuff, and they think, oh,
carrying something,
a
bomb or something, who
and
knows?
then would have smoked me right there. And I say all this to say, like, they wonder why we don't respect them. And I'm not shout out to those cops who are good, but
yeah, shout out to the cops that are good, man.
Damn, the
far and few.
It's
very few.
It's the way they treat us,
dude.
And I wasn't doing nothing,
bro. There's a dude I went to school with, and we were friends since 5th grade. And now I run into this guy in the jewelry store, and I'm talking to him while he's picking up something for his wife. I'm picking up something for my girl.
Yeah.
And it turns from, hey, Dan, haven't seen you since graduation in 8th grade. How you been? To now, so what you up to nowadays? What you getting into? It's
interrogation.
Yo, his whole body, everything changed. I was like, bro, thought we knew each other back in the day. Like,
right.
And he started interrogating me, and I was like, I felt uncomfortable. I started sobering up, like, you know what? Probably shouldn't talk to this guy. I know we were cool at one point, but I don't know who you are now. I don't know what fraternity you're part of. I don't know who you owe it to take me in if I look suspicious. But, yo, friends will change with the job. Go ahead, what you saying?
I forgot.
My fault.
But no,
sorry.
No,
there's a lot of these instances.
No, that's why we're forgetting, because it's so much that we want to get off our chest that it's hard. I would say this. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I think I do remember,
No,
but I think it's also very important to remember like where cops came from. When slavery was abolished,
it was used as a way to
your neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
That's where it all stemmed from.
runaway
So
slaves.
I feel like
that's what it was for.
Or keep black people in check after
Keep
slavery.
black people in check.
No, you can look it up.
So that they
that's
can
what it was,
send
right?
you to jail, and then jail became the manual.
Because when you're in jail, you're considered a slave of the government. So
yeah, you're owned by the
free
state.
labor.
Did you know that if you came over here, you don't have papers, you get arrested, you can't get a green card?
Yeah, they can send you back home, and
They can only send you back home. They can't keep you here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
No, you
that
can
would
serve
suck.
your time
And
first,
then-
and then.
Imagine
So some
that.
people can serve 20 years, and then they send
Which
you
is
home.
kind of
Wow.
stupid.
Which sucks.
because
They
it's
got
like
20 years
home.
of free labor out of
it's
you.
like I'm
Just
paying
send me
taxes for you to live here. Stupid.
Yeah, and work here in jail.
Also, I want us to clarify too that
Yeah, let's clarify.
a lot of times we hear those stories. Oh, if you only comply, if you only listen to them, things wouldn't get out of hand. And
That's like that's
so
that's
many
victim
times.
blaming.
Yeah,
That is
so
victim
many
blaming.
times.
If only you didn't wear that outfit. Oh,
Right.
if only you didn't look this way. So how am I supposed to help being black? I'm just let me hold my breath and hopefully I turn white.
And we
Yeah,
could
right.
wear
I ain't put no tints
shirts,
on it.
suits,
Yep.
dress, and
Doesn't matter.
still be I could be the most
matter.
upstanding citizen
Yes,
and
sir.
still be stopped.
Yep, you'll always be
Because
stopped.
I look like this. So when people say, "Oh, if you only comply, if you only listen," it's because you're too arguing. So many of us aren't
People have
argumentative
implicit
and
bias.
Still,
Yeah,
The problem is that they think that just because you're a police officer makes you righteous. No, it's just a job. You don't. You're not a morally just person just because you work in politics and government and the law.
what was his name? Castellio.
Fidel. I know you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So
Philando Castile. I know
yeah.
you're talking about, man.
So he showed that he had the permit for the gun, right? A man said, "Hey, I have a gun," and he let him know, "I have a gun in the car." He did everything right
And still,
and still got murked. So when people say, "Oh, do this," it bothers me because it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. All we trying to do is try to get home. And sometimes they look at us like, "Oh, black people was blowing this out. Nah, man, if they only knew the day by days what's going on. In
Yo,
their
my
life,
business
bro.
vehicle right now, my brakes do not work. The brake light do not work.
Mm.
I know it doesn't. That's only because my vehicle is very old and
Should
it's got a
fix it.
terrible. I know, I am.
Yeah.
But it's got a very bad electrical problem. I should definitely
Yeah.
fix it.
It's not good.
But you know what's nice about it though? Since this whole defund the police,
Right.
I've not gotten any issues with it. I know it's a work vehicle. If this is my recreational vehicle without logos or anything on it, obviously that thing's gonna be top notch. It always
Right.
is. I was thinking about that on the way here. My other cars are all great, and my one work vehicle
Oh, man.
never gives me this. I've only been stopped once by a cop in that car, and that was because before I had gotten my official your official decals put on it,
Yeah.
and your advertising. I had used that paint, the marker Sharpie for the windows, and I drew all over it, so my car looked kind of suspicious. It's your drug suspicious. But they were like, "So what kind of vents do you clean?" And I was like,
I clean your wife's vents.
"I know, right?
Yeah,
That's what
you
he
say
sounded
that.
like.
What's up?
Say that guy
Sure you
instantly
just
shot.
clean vents?
I'm like, I went out like a G.
I wanted to say that. I was
I went out
like
like
your
a G.
wife's,
That
your
is,
mother's,
that
your
is
sister.
not good.
You know,
and then
one
you get
thing-
riddled up with bullets.
One thing I want.
Afro, make
What's
them feel
up?
real small.
One
What's
thing
up,
I
Ricardo?
want us to keep on sharing because this is therapeutic and
Yeah.
those
Share in the
please,
comments.
Share in the comments.
Yes, your
Talk to
experiences
us.
and
Give
everything.
us your experience.
Please
Or-
smash the like button.
Or give us a positive story. I'll read that. I'll read. I
Yo,
want to read a
for
positive
real.
story.
Positive stories.
Yes.
Because I ain't never
don't
met a
have
good cop.
Listen, when you-
37 years, they never met a good
Or
cop.
a funny
Yeah.
story.
When you're a kid
Funny
growing up
one.
and you see superheroes, the closest thing that you can be to them is a police officer.
Shout out to the fire
I wanted to be
people.
one when I was
the
younger.
the fireman.
I wanted to.
I love the firemen. Shout out to
Yeah,
them.
the fire
Go ahead.
men and
Even though they
ladies.
give me-
You mean the fire department?
Yeah.
But it's like I wanted to be
Shout
a
out
police
to
officer at one
NYPD
point.
traffic.
You wanted to be one?
Yes, I did until I had bad experiences with police
Nah, I should,
officers.
I voted
Yeah, that's true. Once
like,
you get the
that's
bad experience,
genuinely.
you're not going to want to do it.
But even with all that, all I can say is
Well, I will say one thing. Can I
Yeah.
interject?
Yeah.
Each of you have the grace of God on you because you guys are alive and well here today.
Right.
Yeah.
With the numerous experiences
Right,
that we've
right.
had collectively.
And I have more stories. That's the crazy
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
You got
More
more.
stories.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. I got
Yeah.
extradited while selling windows. Didn't know about that. Because no soliciting. When a sign says no soliciting, you should stop solicit, right? My boss kept soliciting. What ended up happening? We got taken into jail. What happened from there? Oh, Pennsylvania
And-
has a
and
warrant
it's-
for your arrest.
And
Why?
it's not your boss' fault, right? He
Not
didn't
my
get in
boss'
trouble.
fault. No, he got bailed out that night.
Wow,
I got
you
put in
had
jail
to-
that night.
Wow.
And then I got sent to Pennsylvania after I had to go in court in Bridgeport, Connecticut first. Then I had to drive. They had to bring me to Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's a
All
pain.
for a ticket in Pennsylvania that they created under. You remember they give
The
you
fake-
the
the
number.
fake, yeah.
They give you a license number.
license, yeah.
They give you another license number in this Commonwealth state other than your original license number. So when you do something, it could possibly be under that number. And if you don't check that license number and think you're okay to leave the state, you could be
Right.
leaving with problems.
Yeah.
So check these states that are Commonwealth states, other states like
Yikes.
this, like I think Florida's one, Texas. But just make sure your record's clear before you leave or go on vacation.
But so
Because it would suck to get stopped.
to end on a good note.
Oh,
right?
great note.
Let's
Cut off our chest.
again. Shout out to those cops that actually do their job.
Yeah, shout out to the big
and
guys.
and are here supporting the community and
Yes.
doing well. We appreciate you guys, right?
Yes, thank you for
So-
those.
stop being dicks.
So, DeJounte,
Yeah.
how would you
Clean
close
it
this
up.
off?
So I wanted to close it up, and it's pretty in sync with what you said with the quote of the day. And my thing is, make today be the day that you try something new, that you try something different. To always try to step out of your comfort zone, no matter how little, no matter how big. And also as well, treat life as an adventure as it should be. Try to deviate from the norm, take a different route, do something different. That's all that matters. Keep trying and allow the inner child to be at the forefront. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you for listening with us at Peepthiswom. Don't forget to smash the like button and please comment
And subscribe.
and subscribe.
and subscribe. Thank you.
And follow me at YesWise Guy on Instagram and
Yes,
TikTok.
and follow the vent doc to get your vents cleaned.
Efficient
All
underscore
right?
one.
He does it efficiently.
Yes. KTM loves life still. All the underscores in between those words.
What's
Figure it
up?
out
What's
if
up?
you want to follow me.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.